we're rolling episode 169. We're here, and I didn't stuff too fucking much. I didn't stuff too much at Christmas.
Serious?
Took a couple dabs.
Why didn't you stuff?
I think
was it conscious or you just...
I think usually going into the holidays, I'm like, oh yes, there's not a tournament coming up. I don't have to cut, so I just stuff until it's so uncomfortable. But I've been slowly these past couple years getting out of that.
Yeah, I feel like too when I'm there, it's like we just kind of feed off each other. We're like, let's stuff a little extra.
Yeah, just fucking house it. Did you house some food?
I stuffed a little bit.
I don't think anybody doesn't stuff food. Even the wrestlers that got to make weight and the guys that got to make weight, they still stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's our buddy Mindset Mike. I stumbled upon him on Instagram. Were you working with John Jones at Fight Ready, or are you just popping in and talking to the boys?
So I work with a lot of the fighters at Fight Ready, and I'm just an asset to the team, and something that they utilize for guys particularly, and girls for high profile fights. I just worked with Wei Lee, so nothing official with John. I'm just there to help as he transitions to get ready for spending some time in Arizona. So we've talked about doing some work. We'll see where that goes, but I get the opportunity to work with a lot of great fighters through the career that I have. I really enjoy it.
hell yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah. So where'd you go for Christmas?
My house. I didn't do nothing. I went on a little jog, streamed for an hour, and then just fucking took a dab and watched like 3 episodes of Survivor.
Dude, enough with that show.
Survivor, like the OG Survivor.
Yeah. I just am obsessed. I've just been watching it. Because Danny brought Atlanta to her mom, so I had the house to myself. I just fucking threw my legs in the Normatex because I ran and my knee was been a little sore, and just fucking vegged out. I had a couple chocolate chip cookies, just didn't give a fuck.
Did you guys end up going over there for
We went to Liz's house yesterday, or Christmas Eve night, and it's like 10, and we're just sitting there. I'm like, okay, can we leave yet? We had a good time for an hour, and then we'd all just sit around, and it's like...
Yeah, we timed ours good. We went over about 3 so we could get home about 7 and get with our fucking little routine.
So what'd your daughter get for Christmas?
She already got a bunch of shit. I don't know. Christmas is weird. Like, she gets shit all the time. We didn't really do... She's only 1, so she didn't... I don't know.
You gotta show them, Mike. You gotta show them.
You show them?
Yeah.
All right. So, actually, you guys did a seminar at the place where I run my wrestling club in Houston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, War. I'm the one, so I spent a lot of time with Valiant, Yachty's son, the place where Yachty's son goes. And so long story short, one of the first wrestlers that I ever coached, he started doing custom shoes. So when Tim had hit me up talking about coming on the show, I was like, man, I'd love for him to make a pair of customs for the show. And long story short, it is really difficult to get Air Force Ones right now.
Yeah.
So what I was able to get, though, was some pretty dope shoes for your daughter. So in the meantime, while we wait for the shoes to get finished for you guys for the show.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, this is a little gift for your daughter. So
yeah.
pull it out, check it out. He did a really good job.
Oh, my God. These are going to be fucking cute. I can already tell.
Yeah, man.
Oh, those are awesome.
So put them both side by side so you can see what it says.
Sugar.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking so cool.
Isn't that sick?
Those are badass. Oh,
Yeah.
my God. She's going to look so cute in these.
I know.
She's probably got a little bit, but still, these are so fucking
so good,
cute.
and he does a good job. His name's Chemo Cloud Customs is his page,
gosh.
and it almost looks like that's how they were made. It doesn't look like they were painted.
No, these look very, very good. Oh my, those colors, I love those colors too.
I figured you would.
Those are awesome. Yeah, thank you. Tell me, or thank you.
You're
you guys.
welcome.
That's
You're
awesome.
welcome. I'm glad you like it. I spent a lot of time around Maria and Ben as well. And they actually helped me figure out the size and stuff. I had hit up Maria. I was like, "What size would Elena be? I don't know what size to get." So
No, she's probably got a couple, not too long, but she'll be running in those here before too long. That's fucking awesome.
Did you get any Christmas gifts? Did you get what you wanted?
Me?
I
I don't want anything.
know. I didn't get shit.
I guess I don't really. There's nothing I fucking. I was just hoping no one got me anything.
Some extra ice?
Well, that Trax NYC people came down. They flew down from New York and fucking hooked me up with a blue, red, yellow, pink, and one more. Whatever, 5.
Younger kids too, right?
No, the guy's, well, he's 30. The guy that owns the store is 35.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one was little assistant dude, Mickey. But yeah, they hooked me up with some ice. But for Christmas, yeah, I don't know. Christmas is weird.
It-
Not
it is
weird,
weird.
but it's just like it just kind of throws me off sometimes. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, it is good though. It fucking just does bring some family together. You go out of the way to talk to family that you usually haven't. Did you guys have your family little barbecue?
Yeah, Michael came up, Javon came up, the kids, Shayla, Daniel in Hawaii with Alana. Got Michael a Prius, like got the boys.
Was he jacked?
Yeah, and it's so weird. I don't know how to like tell him. So it's like at the end of the night when they're leaving, it's like, cause I don't know. It's like not weird, but it is weird. But yeah, he was jacked. He was trying to tear up. Javon lost it. Just started.
Dude, that's fucking
they have
awesome.
one vehicle, and like she's gonna start work, and like they didn't know how they were gonna transportation and all that. But yeah, no, that felt good. Went to Walmart yesterday and handed out like 2 racks. Or no, Christmas Eve. That was fucking fun.
That's
That
awesome.
felt good.
Yeah, that was cool. And it was funny because like I would give it it ended up being like big black ladies because I was just like trying to pick out who, and like they were always the most funny, like whoa.
Yeah.
But that was fun. A couple guys recognized the Sugar Show, hooked them up, but that was fun. But Walmart's a crazy place, dude. I felt like I was in
yeah.
another, just not even country, but like another planet.
Have you ever seen the website People of Walmart?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, that's some wild stuff on that site. My gosh.
there is.
Dude, have you ever heard of the Juice World kid? Juice World, the rapper.
Yeah, the guy that died.
Yeah, I never really heard of him until he popped up a documentary on HBO.
You never heard of Juice World?
I heard of him, but I didn't
got
really
good music.
know
Dude,
who he was.
You should watch his freestyles on YouTube. They're like hours long. And he just change up the beat, and he just keeps going, and it's like you can just sit there and listen, and his voice is like, yeah, he's
Pretty
fucking sweet.
That brand new documentary out on YouTube. But dude, the fucking dude can just sit
YouTube
there.
or HBO?
I mean HBO. The dude can just sit there and just not. He's just talking. It's just his
Oh, he's
mind works that
freestyling?
way. Just almost the whole fucking show, he's doing that. But dude, sipping that purple drink and like 19-year-old, 18-year-old kids seeing him do that, just like
That's cool.
and just sipping like 5 perks at a time.
Yeah, and a lot of his songs are like talking about dying early, dying at a young age, overdosing, drinking too much, and like
That's exactly what
fucker
happened.
died 20, 22, 21. Dude, that guy could have been I mean, he kind of already is a legend, but imagine what he could have done.
Yeah, you wonder what it's like. You get so much money.
Did you hear
that
how he
early.
died? How he
Yeah,
died?
yeah.
On the
It's
plane and
in
shit?
it. Yeah.
Oh,
In
you
the
finished
documentary.
it? I gotta see that. That's on fire.
What was it called?
Oh, I think it's just Juice World.
Yeah.
But dude, you get that much money and that much fame at that early, and then it's just like
It's scary.
He just got a ton of anxiety, and then tried these perks, and he's like, "Oh, these numb me. They make me feel good or something." It's like, fuck, dude.
I can't imagine at that early of an age, at that level, that much anxiety he was feeling.
Well,
I mean, even Bieber came out good. He came out
Yeah.
on the other side, but he went through his shit to where he was just like doing his thing. But yeah, that would be crazy.
Imagine how many kids watch that Juice World shit though, and they're like, "Damn, I need some purple codeine." And,
or listen to his
or
music.
whatever.
Yeah,
Probably a
just
fuck.
get so influenced by what you listen to.
Yeah, and just think it's cool as shit. We also watched this the new Leonardo DiCaprio show out on Netflix.
It's a show.
It's a movie.
Mm.
It's really fucking good, dude. Because they find out there's a time that this 10-kilometer wide comet's gonna hit the Earth in 6 months, and the whole Earth's gonna fucking be done. And people weren't taking him serious. But you should watch that show. It's fucking funny. It's a good ass show.
Do you just watch your shows like in fast forward? Because you watch like 30 a day.
You watch probably more Survivor than I do shows.
Don't bring up Survivor.
Child show.
Don't watch. That shit is real shit.
Yeah.
Exactly. I smell like a campfire because I was fucking playing Survivor last night, trying to fucking build a fire, and I didn't change my
Did you make
sweatshirt.
it?
No, I couldn't make a fucking fire.
Yeah.
You just gotta throw some fire starter in there, make it easy for
Well,
you.
it rained and everything was wet,
yeah, it
and
is
it's like
wet.
fuck, my thumb's broke and shit.
Yeah.
So what got you into sports psychology? What got you into it?
Yeah. So I was actually in the FBI for about 7 years. And when I was in that time, obviously, like behavioral science was something I was real passionate about. I had done work within the FBI in the behavioral science unit, doing research, things like that. And as an athlete my whole life, as a wrestler my whole life, the psychology side has always been something I was interested in. Fast forward, I started this wrestling club when I moved from DC to Houston when I was still in the FBI. And I realized very quickly there were a lot of athletes that were really, really talented, but just could not perform to their potential, particularly in like the matches that mattered, right? So long story short, I was in the FBI. I'm running my academy. I had 13 kids in the state finals out of my club. 9 should have won. 5 just kind of crapped the bed. I was scratching my head. I was like, I don't understand how that could happen. They knew what they needed to do. They had the physical tools. They were mentally prepared. They just didn't show up. So I sought out resources for my wrestlers, and I found a company that was doing really big started doing really big things in wrestling at the time. At that time, we were called Wrestling Mindset. And then I used the company for my program, had success, and then I really just understood and had a real knack and feel for what they were doing. Like I said, it was always something I was passionate about. Long story short, I started coaching for the company. 2 years later, I leave the FBI to be one of the directors in the company. That was 2016. 5 years now, we went from 120 clients to about 4,000 a year.
Nice.
So I started being the guy that would work with a lot of I'd either be speaking, like I was telling you, I spoke in Montana. I was speaking at a lot of these conventions, working with a lot of the top tier people, and that's what led me to, eventually work with some pretty high profile people over the last couple of years. And, my background in criminology, psychology, my background in the FBI, doing hostage negotiation, behavioral science research, and then as a wrestler, an athlete, and a coach my whole life, leads me into the position where I am today, where I get to kind of pursue, we don't necessarily call it sports psych as much as mindset training, very, sports specific performance, but same premises. So, now that's my day-to-day job is being able to.
How long out do you think you would need to work with an athlete for them to perform at their best?
So I think sustainably, probably like 3 to 6 weeks. I can't tell how many people I've gotten, hey, I've got somebody that's got a fight this weekend. Can you help me out? Amazing performance. Hey, we have a national championship tomorrow. Can you help us out? And I've had consistently really, really good results. But again, like sustainability, 3 to 6 weeks, like to start getting that flow going. And the idea is that we work with you, forever. You have a strength coach, you got a jiu-jitsu coach, you got a striking coach, and we have a curriculum that deals with the other 90, the 90% of the sport that everybody talks about, but doesn't really train.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's the nice thing about, like, it happens all the time, wrestling, fighting, and stuff. There's people in the gym that are just fucking studs, but then when the lights turn on, they just can't fucking turn it over for some reason. Mm-hmm. Wrestling a little different because, like, wrestling a little bit more is like you get the results come from what you put in, the work a little bit. Fighting, not so much.
Right.
The better guy always doesn't win.
Right.
You're the better guy. You had the better train camp. You did everything right, and then you got clipped.
Right,
And
100%.
and you failed.
Your nerve.
So it's just like...
Chill.
Just like a quick example, because I'm sure you could go on all day about it. But like for a wrestler, what's a quick example of how you would get them to perform under the lights and they're good in practice? And then same thing for a fighter.
Yeah. So I think it's a combination of like a number of things. But if I were to talk to somebody that's performing tomorrow, probably one of the best pieces of advice that I can give them is like, okay, so for a wrestler, we have 3 2-minute periods. In college, it's 3-2-2, and in high school, it's 2-2-2. Don't try to win a 6-minute match. Don't try to win a 2-minute period. Win 15 seconds or one position at a time. So if you could focus on winning the position you're in, you focus on winning the next 15 seconds, then you give your absolute focus and effort in those moments. So you win moments, not matches, right? You win moments, not periods. So for fighters, it's the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. So whether it's a championship fight, whether it's Whaley versus Rose, whether it's, Patricky Pitbull in Ireland beating Peter Queally, whether it's 25 minutes or 15 minutes, don't try to win a 25-minute or 15-minute fight. Win 15 seconds at a time. Reset, refocus, one position at a time. Mm-hmm. Because I would say the majority of the clients that I work with, like, they don't have problems. They're top tier athletes. They're people that just, when they show up, they want to show out. They want to show up, win, bonus. Right? There's a big difference between showing up and losing, showing up, winning, and making 50K. Yeah. All right. So that's the idea, is that when you show up, you show out. How do you do that? You make sure that you can give a focused, full effort 15 seconds at a time.
Yeah, and it seems like, just like you said, most elite athletes, they're already there to where they can stay present in that moment, in that big moment. Yeah, but with like I said, for Sean, like the biggest thing I think that's helped him is just the consistent practice with meditation and being able to bring yourself obviously in the moment. But yeah, the shit always interests me, and it always interests me too how good when someone gets beat back to back, like someone like a Cody No Love or someone like this, like 2 and 12.
7.
Yeah. Like how would you go about sitting down with someone like that and being like, oh, hey, we gotta rebuild?
Yeah. Well, I think every situation's different, right? And I think if you try to treat everything the same, it's kind of hard to say, hey, treat this like just another fight. I mean, you're on the chopping block, right? You make every fight the most important fight of your career, whether you're 1-7 or 7-1. The next fight's the most important fight. And I think there's two ways that I'll answer that. One, a big hack that I found: a lot of people feel like they have to win instead of being more excited to compete. So if you're excited to showcase your skills, like, you're a showman, right? Like, you put on a show. That's the attitude wise, that's great, but why is that effective in performance? Because gratitude and excitement produces dopamine. Dopamine is the happy and the focus hormone. You literally are like leaning on the matrix side of being able to hone into your senses because you're more happy and excited. Then you feel obligated that you have to win. When you feel like you have to win, you feel like you think you can't make mistakes. So you're tense, you're cautious, you're hesitant. So even though you're a world-class athlete, you're not performing to the best of your ability. When you're excited for the opportunity to showcase your skills, you're just happy to be there. You're going to put on a show. You win a round, great. You lose a round, great. I'm just excited to showcase my skills. So like Weili always said in all her interviews, Weili 2.0, Weili 2.0. She's excited to show the new version of herself, right? So one of the fighters that I worked with in Bellator, Linton Vassell, he was 0-2 when we started working together. He had lost to Ryan Bader and he had lost to Phil Davis.
Tough fight.
Yeah, tough fights. And he was actually beating Phil Davis and got head kicked, right? Ryan Bader, I wasn't with him at the time, but his dad, Linton's dad, actually had committed suicide not long before that event. Yeah, so tough draw for him, right? So a guy that's 0-2 getting older, right, in the Bellator arena, then loses his next fight. It's his debut at heavyweight. So he's now 0-3 going into his fight, and he fights Sergey Karatanov. So that guy was like on the come up, and he TKO'd him, I think, second round. So for that guy, it's not about, like, you can't fight to secure your spot in the UFC to make sure that you don't get cut. If you feel like you're fighting because you have to do something or you don't want something to happen, your brain's going to produce cortisol. You're stressed, right? Versus if you focus on being excited for the opportunity to fill in the blanks there, right? Showcase the new version of yourself. Get better every single day, whatever the case may be. You have to shift their focus to something that is not outcome related and that is on things that they can control. So when you shift it to things that they can control, that's not outcome related, that doesn't produce stress, right? They're able to make the most of whatever their opportunity is in training, in fighting, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. So someone like Cody, same like Linton, listen, we're not fighting to make sure that we don't get cut. You're fighting to show everyone how much growth you've made since your last fight. And if you do that, winning becomes a byproduct of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's crazy how, like, you tell someone, hey, kind of like, hey, this is how we have to think. But for them to actually be able to start thinking that way and continue thinking that way is such a skill.
It is a skill. That's the exact word. It's a skill.
A lot of people don't have, and like Tim said, from meditation, I think that's where you can kind of grow from that.
Well, especially the days leading up to a big event, and not even like, oh, when we were amateurs, when we were wrestling, it's like, oh, it's just fun. We're just getting experience. It's fun. Yeah. We're excited to go perform. But now it's like, okay, you get half your money. Mm-hmm. And then the trajectory of your career or whatever starts going like this. But that's where it's hard, those days leading up, like those battles, going through what could happen and focusing on what you can control. Just, yeah.
Well, so exactly that. Every fight's the most important fight you could ever have, whether you're the main event, whether it's for the title, or whether it's just some guy that's in front of you. Every fight's important. No fight is special, right? So if we're focused on whether or not, on how well, let me rephrase. If we're focused on whether or not we're going to win or lose, you have no control because you could win that fight and the judges see it the other way. How many times do we see a card that's not scored right? So I think fighting is almost easier to surrender the outcome in the competition because you have zero control what the judges do.
Yeah.
Like my fight after Cheeto, it's like I could have thought two ways. Like I was excited to go and showcase my skills. I wasn't thinking, oh God, I hope my leg holds up. I was excited to go and show people like you can't just kick my leg once and my foot's gonna fucking fall asleep. So like going into that fight, I was excited to showcase my skills. I was excited to fight a good high level kickboxer in Thomas Almeida and show that's not what works. You can't just kick my leg. So like my mindset going into that Thomas Almeida fight, I was just excited to go and prove that a bunch of people are fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm. But then would sometimes some things creep in and you just counter them right away?
Not so much. I haven't really, that fight I don't think so too much. I think I was pretty fucking locked in and focused. Then the the fucking next fight, obviously Chris took that. That fight was pretty good, but that last fight with that rib injury, that was the one where I was fucking going back and forth like every night, like just countering thoughts. That one was like I feel like I grew more for that fight than any fight.
So I'm going to key on two things you said. One, you talk about countering thoughts, right? So that's exactly what we do. People think of good thoughts or bad thoughts. Thoughts are just things. They're just situations that you respond to. It's not a good double leg or a bad double leg. I have to sprawl regardless, right? So it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. I have to sprawl to the best of my ability. Thoughts aren't good or bad. They are situations to respond to. So you have to counter each thought. Every thought that comes in requires a response. The problem is that most of us get to a level where like we either ignore it. Like, let's say weak people, their thoughts kill them. Tough people, I'm fine. But the best people, they take that thought and they put it in a better place. Good becomes great, and then crappy becomes manageable. So I think that's a big thing that people got to realize, that thoughts are just things, right? And like you said, that's a skill. So I can't give people advice. If, talking, you won't retain 95% of what I say. But if I give you tools and teach you skills on how to actually manage and change the way that you think, stay present in the moment, because it's 100% normal for the most highest level of athletes to think things that are unproductive. We just have to put it in the right place. You probably think less than the average guy, right? But guys that are higher up in the rankings don't think it any less. Guys that have 10 world title defenses, they don't not have negative thoughts. They've just found a process on how to deal with them. Mm-hmm. So, for us as mindset coaches, and for me, I have to teach you and train you to manage the way that you think, because that will manage the way you feel. You manage the way that you feel, that'll manage the way that you perform. So you can't control winning or losing because of the judges, right? What you can control is how well you perform. You can perform to the best of your ability, and hey, man, it's still MMA. You could win 14 minutes and 50 seconds and then get a head kick. Bonk. Or bink.
Who did you, I remember you told me countering the negative thought. I think it was still an amateur. I remember you said, was it Flawless?
Matt Linlin.
Matt Linlin?
In the wrestling practice. He'd run some pretty grueling fucking wrestling practice, and he would just say counter.
Where were you with Matt?
Team Quest. He would just talk about countering it right away. Those negative thoughts are going to come in. You got caught in an armbar. Okay, counter it with a defense.
That's funny, though, because that was probably 7 years ago you told me that. And then, I'd done that my entire life. Now just counter thoughts.
Yeah. It's simple. We make things too complicated.
100%.
Right? It's just thought comes in, pause, respond. You just got to put it in the right place. If I park my car and I realize that it's in a handicapped spot, I can't hope that I don't get a ticket. I got to pull it out and put it in the right place. So obviously that's easier said than done, but that's what we do. We teach people how to do that. And then, what allows, when this is a long-term sustainability, there's guys I've worked with 3, 4, 5 years, teams I've worked with 6 years that are, top 20 in the country, guys that are number 1 in the country. Why? Because, you're never at a point where your mindset is too strong. It's the one muscle. You can never be too strong.
Yeah, it's interesting too for people who first time compete and they first start feeling those stresses and the anxiety leading up to a tournament, and then it's competition time and there's just so much going on. They're like, holy fuck.
Especially with people that have never competed in anything. And they're 22, the jiu-jitsu people at the gym, they're like, what the fuck? I feel like for some people that are just natural performers, maybe they're not natural performers, but they've been competing since they were 3, 4, 5 years old, to where they just build up that skill to compete without overthinking or being attached to the outcome. That's something I feel like I'm always good at too, is not being attached to the outcome. I'm not scared to lose. I do not. If I lose, I still have the TimboSugarShow. I still got Danny. I still got my family that loves me, and my life's still good. And I truly believe that and accepted that, to where I'm not scared to lose, which gives me the freedom to go out and perform freely.
Yeah, the shit that really matters isn't going to change.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is that we get attached to the stuff that doesn't matter, that's outcome-based, that's money-based, that's results-based, that we have no control over. Whether it's God, the universe, whatever you believe in, right? You're not in control of that, but you are in control of the process that gets you there. So in those 15 minutes, you can perform to the best of your ability and see what happens. And if you gave everything that you could in training, you focused on the right things leading up to and during that fight, right? We talk about effort, attitude, aggressiveness, preparation. You crush those 4 things, the only person that's going to beat you earns that right.
Yeah.
They took it away from you. They proved that they were better than you.
Yeah, and you giving all those lessons to those young kids coming up, this is so fucking powerful compared to a 30-year-old who's never had to go through any of those lessons. And then every time they get a feeling, they're just like, oh, well, that's the way I feel, or that's that. They can't even notice it and be like, no, that's not the way I fucking feel. It's pretty sweet.
Well, it's like I think there's a stigma with mental training that there has to be something wrong. But I've worked with guys like Matt Brown. That dude's tough as shit, right? Like he don't have problems, and he's gone through like other processes and ways to train his mind. And for a guy like that, it wasn't about problems. It was about making sure when he shows up, he shows out, and he's more excited and grateful for the opportunity to be there, right? Than he was feeling like he has to win the knockout record, or feeling like he has to win because he has to provide, and now he's got a gym and he's got to show this, that, and other things, How
much easier is it to work with a person that already has a good meditation practice?
I think that, I've noticed like people that have been in the game a while, they all have some sort of thing, whether it's meditation, whether it's yoga, whether it's, just being present with yourself and walking without your phone for 10 minutes, whatever it may be. I think everyone's got something that's similar to that. I would say it's very important. It's not a make or break. It's kind of like sprinkles on a cake. I love sprinkles. They're like one of my favorite parts of any cupcake, cake, whatever you want to look at, right? But it's not the cake. I think that it's something that is it's gasoline on a good fire. So I think that it makes a very, very big impact. It's not make or break, but you need something. Yeah. Right. Everyone needs something, and a lot of people lean towards that. But ultimately, I think that it's like gasoline on a good fire versus the foundational building blocks to a house.
Yeah, hell yeah, yeah. There's a new documentary too. I was watching a little bit with Serena Williams. That girl is a fucking like athletic freak. Dude. But you can see when she plays, she's so fucking in that moment, thinking about the mechanics. Like it's just sweet to watch her. Yeah. Let's see if Big Mike's on.
Damn, first Zoom call, eh?
I know. We're going to start doing Zoom calls with some of our buddies once a week, little 20-minute segment. We'll see how she goes, fellas. I didn't mean to book 2 guests, but I accidentally did.
It's all right. We all get to hang out now.
Yeah, yep.
I think what meditation helps a lot, too, is high-level athletes don't turn off. So the biggest thing that like ESPN had interviewed me about Wei Li was, like what's the main thing you worked on her with? And I was like, she felt fighting was a job. She lost the enjoyment of it. I have to fight. I have to win. I have to get my belt back versus I get to train. I get to fight and enjoying it. She didn't love fighting anymore. You love fighting, right? When you love fighting, it's not a job. You're excited every day to go to work. Yeah. Right. But she felt like it was a job that she had to do.
Well, after you defended the title or even had 10 plus UFC fight camps, it's like, how do you avoid burnout?
For me, there's days in camp where I literally am going to the gym because I have to, not because I want to. And
that's normal. People think that's not normal. It's normal. You just have to put those thoughts in the right place. In those moments, win those moments. Yeah. Every day, when you win more moments, you win more minutes. You win more minutes, you win more hours. You win more hours, you win more days. That's it.
Mikey, can you hear me, bud?
Oh.
Start video down bottom left. Yeah, I saw that. Hey. Wow. Oh my God, Uncle Mike. We talking on the Logitech mic.
It don't matter. He can hear us either way.
Hey, Mikey, how we doing, brother? Boys. Where you at right now, champ?
I'm in sunny Connecticut.
What the hell are you doing there?
I got family here out on the East Coast. This is where I'm from. This is where my bloodline began.
Connecticut.
Damn, did you get buzzed up last night or no?
No.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I did a lot of family stuff, man. I got a little nephew.
Spin the bottle and shit.
That's down south.
Like spin the bottle and kissing under the mistletoe shit, or no?
I don't do that in Connecticut as much. It's a liberal state.
Hell yeah, dude. Hey, one thing I want to ask you about, which I think always can help some of the younger bucks. What's some of your go-to ways that you start dealing with your anxiety when you feel it popping up?
Exercise.
Yeah, there it is. I think that's the number one answer.
I go, and I don't mean, I like lifting the weights. I like doing the bench and all that stuff too. And put the headphones in, listen to some music, listen to A Day to Remember, Stories So Far, put some jams on that make you feel good. But I mean cardio. I mean cardiovascular exercise, bro. Whether it be the treadmill, whether it be, if you got problems with your legs, the elliptic, whatever you got to do to break a sweat and get yourself into that repetitive cyclical motion that gets you out of your mind. I always thought Because I suffer from anxiety. I know we didn't talk about it at all, but I have really bad anxiety and a bunch of other stuff that I deal with, a lot of other demons that I deal with every day. And unless I work out and get my body moving, I'm fucked, man.
One of my favorite things you ever said, I listened to you a lot. The Impulsive podcast. I enjoyed you on the Raw Talk with Big Brad. One of the things I liked you said the other day with Jake was discipline is a drug of its own. And then you said you could work or you need to try it or whatever. But no, I really enjoy listening to you talk. I think you have a lot to share with the people. But do you feel like you're lacking in your own discipline?
Yeah, 100%. And I equally enjoy watching you fight. So it's a good show. Congrats on the last win. That was incredible. I'm excited to see what you do next. I can't believe whatever that is. It looks horrible.
Really won the fight. Yeah.
Who really won though? He broke my thumb.
Thumb?
Yeah, I broke my thumb. So
is that a problem or what? I mean, it's obviously a problem, but like, how big of a problem is it?
No, it's only 3 weeks. It's not bad.
Before I answer your question, can I ask you a question? You're an incredible striker. Like literally a very, very good striker, and you knock everybody out. And I know you pay a lot of attention to the Jake Paul fights, and you saw what happened with Tyron Woodley. This is just me being completely curious. What would happen if you put on gloves and trained and you fought Jake Paul? Like, what would the outcome be?
That's a very good question. Me versus Jake Paul in a boxing match. I will say Jake probably has more power than me, maybe. I mean, if we were to just for a straight hit, he might hit harder than me. He's quite a bit bigger guy. When it comes to speed, I think I would probably take that. When it comes to timing, I've been training for 11 years. He's been training for 3, and I'm very, very, very impressed with how good he has gotten in such short time. Let's say he's 200 pounds walking around.
He runs 190 when he fights.
190 when he fights. I walk around to 154, 155 right now. That's a tough question. I don't think I personally could knock out Tyron Woodley. I mean, Tyron boxed. But I do think I don't know. I think Tim might have a better answer to that. I really don't know. What do you think?
Dude, it's just...
I love Jake, by the way. Everyone knows Jake.
I know that.
We're friends. Good question. What do you think?
Dude, it's just so hard to say unless it happened. If Jake could put the pressure on him and put him in a corner consistently, or if Sugar could bounce around and he couldn't catch his speed, it's just so hard to say.
I'm very hard to hit, Majlak. I don't like getting hit in the head, and I've acquired a very slick defensive style. That's an interesting one, Mike. That could be a fucking pay-per-view of its own.
It's something I was thinking about coming into this. I'm always thinking about the brain busters and the idea of you getting into the ring, because it's obviously such a hot button thing right now for creators / fighters, fighters / creators. And I know you play in between the two realms yourself. So I was curious. My personal discipline is awful. I think one of the important things about life is knowing your strengths and knowing your weaknesses. I have a ton of great strengths, man. Network building, conversational skills, writing, all these strengths that I really take part, exploit as much as possible and for my benefit. My discipline is terrible, absolutely terrible. I've always been really bad at following a routine, especially at setting boundaries for myself and not breaking those. And honestly, setting boundaries for yourself is another thing that really can help reduce anxiety, because you can cause a lot of anxiety for yourself by breaking rules that you set for yourself. I'm not going to go out there and raw dog 6 girls tomorrow night because I don't know if these girls are going to get pregnant. They got fucking chlamydia, herp, whatever, COVID, who knows, right? And then you do it and you're like, damn, I beat my PR. I fucked 8 girls last night. The next week is all anxiety, bro, stress. So was it fucking worth it, bro? Was it worth it? You know what I'm saying? So setting those personal boundaries, and disciplining yourself is just something that I've never been really good at. And it's something that I really, really intend to work hard on in the new year in 2022.
But obviously your discipline has been pretty good. Look what you've done with the night shift. It takes discipline to grind and build something that successful.
More personal discipline though, probably going to bed at a certain time, not surfing on your phone past a certain hours, not fucking jacking off 3 times a day.
Yes. Speaking of that, like, how do you deal with, we call it TMS, like the girls deal with PMS all the time, but we deal with our TMS, having too much sperm.
Oh.
How much issues does that give you in life?
You know, it's a weird like topic because it's like something that I've been mentally like struggling with lately and like playing with the idea of sperm retention because I know people talk about it all the time. The way that I was brought up was you need to get that shit out, dude. Like
100%.
shit, you know what I'm saying? That shit is causing you more stress, more anxiety, more all of those things. And when you release that, it's calming you. It's you know, it's a dopamine burst and then a settling and you settle into a certain state, right? But now people are starting to talk about this retention tactic where that release is actually a negative tactic to your overall drive towards things in life, whether it be fighting, whether it be, you know, building a business, whether it be whatever. And also, you know, there's a lot of, I don't think anyone would be surprised by me saying this, but I'm not really a one woman kind of guy. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
You know, I'm not very good. I was great with Lana in that relationship, but since then and my entire life leading up to that, I've sucked at it. My father was an absolute serial player, like just not very good at that part of life. And now I'm starting to learn a little bit about what the negative side effects are on that side as well, and all of that idea of having sex without connection, what that does to your psyche, what that does to your ability to feel and be emotionally connected and attached to people. So all of that part is rolled up in that discipline I talked, and it's stuff that I'm continuing to explore and figure out what works best for me.
So what you're saying is 2022, you're not having sex the whole year?
I said that for 2020 for 2021 actually, and I kept that joke going. It was a joke from day one. I mean, I can't remember the last.
I'm sure it's hard when because like when we went out in Cleveland, like, dude, you're a fucking superstar. Like people swarm you. I seen that chick in the elevator, a fucking sexy Australian wanting to slob on Mike's knob. It's hard, especially when you travel a lot. You're going out like a lot of different places. You're at clubs and shit, which makes it so fucking hard to avoid that pointless sex or whatever you want to call it. It's tricky, dude. For us, it's nice because we've had our girls for Europe 10 plus years. I'm hitting 7, 8, whatever it is. And we don't go out. So it's not as hard for us to, I mean, it still is. We still deal with it. We still fucking want to, I'm probably heading to the Tuggy after this shit. I ain't gonna lie. But it's easier for us because we've been locked down. I don't want to call it lockdown or whatever, but we've had our girls for so long. But yeah, it's hard when you go out and there's so many hot puss laying around.
It's just impossible for me, man. I've just always like, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, watch the content and like watch the podcast and shit. And they're like, damn, like, what's this, you know, what's life been like with girls or whatever since you got, you know, clout or whatever. I've been dealing with this since I was 16. I started having sex at 16. I know how to talk. I know how to make girls laugh and smile. I'm fucking 6'3". Like I'm built for success in those fucking departments. And yeah, did the clout and money and the people I'm around and shit like that add a steroid shot to the ass of that regime or a regiment? Of course it did. But at the same time, like I've been dealing with this my whole life. And so like, honestly, it's just a matter of, yo, are you actually finding any kind of meaningful happiness through that connection with sex? Like dudes out there, like growing up, you know, you're 16, you're 17 years old. All you think about in your mind is, damn, I can't wait till I get to a point where I can have sex with every single girl in the world because that's what I want to do. And then I say, unfortunately, because I really mean unfortunately, you may find yourself in a position where you actually get to do that, bro. And it's so unfulfilling, bro. It like really is. And like, there's no, like, once you get that you get that release that we talked about earlier, you find yourself just in this kind of like pit of like ongoing loneliness, bro. Like there's just nothing there. It's a sad place, bro, where you just, you know, it just becomes this game that you play and you know, you try to find like some sort of help for this hole that you have in your soul through these women. You know what I'm saying? And you try to fill that void that is, the love that's missing in your life, maybe the love that's always been missing from your life through that action, and it doesn't fill it, bro. It really doesn't.
And the craziest thing is that, but it's just the power of the pussy that pulls you, the magnet that's like, I know that it's not going to be fulfilling. I know this is not what I should do, but I'm going to do it. It's the hardest thing to avoid. It's like being high and having the munchies and not eating. It's fucking impossible.
So that's where that discipline comes in. You know what I'm saying? That's where that discipline comes in. And I think like I've just been in this really bad spot with that. And like, even like, it was something like that even affected my relationship with Amara, because I like hadn't trained for relationships. Like relationships are work, and it's muscle memory, man. From like the last one you were in, like, yo, I flex that. I woke up every morning. I said, yo, you look beautiful today. I kept my distance. I set my boundaries. All those things are learned from past relationships. And if you're a guy like me who can only count, 1 or 2 relationships that have ever lasted over a month or two, I'm in a really sore spot at 36, 37 years old as it pertains to being a proficient lover. You know what I'm saying? And so that's something, it's just stuff that I'm really starting to learn on myself and about myself. And that's why I'm saying like this next year has to be a bit more of a personal journey for me.
I was watching a old Barstool Sports podcast, and Lana was on there, and she said she got a house for you guys to move in, and the day you were supposed to move in, you moved in with the boys. That decision, how much that could have changed your life trajectory.
It's way more complicated than that. She has her little like spin on it and how she likes to tell that story. But dude, 2021 for me was a grind year. 2020 was a building year, career building. 2021, I had to grind. I wanted every deal. I wanted every brand. I wanted every week. I didn't want to miss a night shift episode. I wanted every 50,000, 100,000, whatever money I could get my hands on, whatever I could do to continue to build the brand in 2021. That's all I wanted. She's retired, dog. She's retired. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. She has so much money from the shit she used to do and from all that private Snapchat and all that. She don't have to work ever again. I'm not in that spot. And so when we got offered the deal to put together that house in the beginning of 2021 and make a lot of fucking money, I didn't have the opportunity to be like, nah, I'm going to go settle down and play house right now, because I couldn't do that. I wasn't in a position where I could do that.
But now you got taxes, boy. I seen that post. That $30 fee on top of it. I was like, God damn, you got to pay 800 racks in taxes and you still got a $30 fucking fee to send it.
That was just the start, bro. It's going to be a well into the 7 figure. It's disgusting, bro. And that's one of the things that makes me like,
fuck a random chick.
just second guess living in LA, bro. The taxes are stupid.
Dude, fuck that.
Dude, that.
I mean, it was a wild year, and like I just wasn't, she was ready to move it at a certain speed, and obviously, like you can tell that how fast she was really wanting to move. As soon as we broke up, she, is well, not as soon as we broke up. We were broken up for fucking probably 7-8 months, like officially. So it was plenty of time in between. There's no bad blood there, but she really just wanted to have a kid really bad and like get into that state of motherhood. You know what I'm saying? And I'm even at 37, like there's a lot of people that watch the content. They're like, yo, you're a fucking man child and shit. But like, you don't know you don't know my story. You don't know, like, I didn't move through life the same way as everybody else. So it's,
Dude, I think you're going to, even because I heard you talk about, like, you don't know how long this is going to go, the night shift, whatever, YouTube. Dude, I think the fans you've built and the audience you've built, they're not going to stop watching YouTube. They're going to not stop watching Mike Majlak. You could be 52 years old doing a burger review, and I'm still going to be subscribed. I'm going to still be watching. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you got to work. Well, you never know. I mean, shit. But I feel like your fan base, the content, it's all about quality of content. It's always fucking fire.
Content's great right now. I mean, dude, I have an audience that's built out of different segments too. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, will those Lana fans start to scale down? Of course. Will the people that are there to watch Logan and me start to scale down if we, spent less time together and he was in the content? Sure. But like, I have 300,000 people that read my entire life story, bro. Yeah. From the day I was born and know everything about me till right now. Those 300,000 people are locked for life. Whatever book I put out next, whatever speaking engagement I do, any of that kind of stuff, those people are riding with me because I had a significant impact on how they're going to live the rest of their life on this fucking planet because of the words that were in the Fit Vital. You know what I'm saying? And so whether it's something I said on Impulsive or just the night shift audience, I think it just depends on how you got to me and what you find in my content. You know what I'm saying? Like the inspirational, motivational, those people are going to be there forever. The people that watch for the comedy and that kind of shit, maybe they stick around, maybe they don't. But that's why I'm starting to lean more into that. You know, anxiety, mental health, motivation, keep going, bust through those fucking walls when they stand in your way, that kind of shit, because that's what people really latch onto.
Speaking of Impulsive, I heard you talk with Brad that you were thinking about, or you kind of or already started a little bit venturing off into your own podcast. You were going to talk to Logan. Where has that came anywhere? Is that still a conversation you're having, or what's going on with that?
I mean, dude, it's actually like further along than you know, even like I even realized. I mean, there's already an agency involved and a production company. We actually already have a contract. It's like it's you know, it's just such a tough thing. It's everybody has multiple podcasts. There's really, besides Rogan and Alex, we call her daddy, there's really not all that many people out there who are just sitting on one show.
I have two. Tim has two.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you look at Schaub, you look at all these guys, you look at Theo Vaughn, you look at, you know, at Schultze and all these guys. They're all on a bunch of different shows. They bounce around. Some is their own IP. Other ones, they share IP with somebody else. And so, you know, I've always been very, or tried to be very careful with showing the utmost level of respect for Logan. He put me on. He's, you know, he gave me my break in the space. And so, like, I like to make sure that he's comfortable with the moves that I make, you know, moving forward. I don't think, you know, we've had some discussions about it. It's not going to be an issue, but I think the real reason it's kind of stalling a little bit right now is we just want to make sure that is the next move. We're talking about potential TV. We're talking about potential, you know, other branded approaches and other stuff that we could do outside of the podcast space. So I think once we make that decision, we really lock it in, then it'll just be full steam ahead. And I mean, dude, Impulsive will always be the priority. We love that show. We love how the fans feel about the show. And that's our favorite thing to do in the fucking world.
Is it a pain in the ass that it's in Puerto Rico right now? Because you guys got to fly out once a week, right? You and Georgie?
It's wherever it is. I mean, we're gonna shoot an episode in Switzerland for New Year's. Yeah. So I mean, it can be.
You're going to, or you did?
No, we're going to on this New Year's. We're gonna shoot it. We're gonna shoot an episode on New Year's Day or New Year's Eve or whatever. But it's become a little stressful. But I mean, being the multitasker and kind of like guy trying to build this night shift brand and keep that going, I found a way to tie in the night shift content with that travel. And so, like, the majority of the content you see nowadays on the night shift is stuff where I'm traveling from place to place, trying a burger in Puerto Rico, eating in Tampa when we're at the Jake Paul fight, hanging out with people there. So it kind of is like, it's been an interesting like combination of the two shows working together in a cool way. But let me tell you, there's nothing that troubles and stresses your discipline more than just traveling all the time.
100%. It fucks up my routine so much. My, you know, hot tub, cold plunge, meditation, even like when I'm traveling, I feel like, okay, I can just take a break from everything. I can just be less disciplined. But I feel that when I get back, I have that anxiety lingering over me from fucking up my routine.
Yeah. And that's I've definitely dealt with that too.
Last one, Mike, because our cameras are about to die. Have you been fucking with any more NFTs, or are you done with it?
So the NFTs, man, I would honestly, I know people will probably get mad. Maybe some people will be happy. I prefer that I don't have to hear the word again. I don't have any, it's just.
You got enough shit you're dealing with.
Well, it's just, listen, NFTs, I think are an incredible technology. I think the idea of smart contracts, the idea of being able to track on the blockchain purchases that are made, the movement of ownership from one person. I love the tech. I love all that. But like, bro, you have to understand how exposed and saturated. You guys know this because you've been hit with it yourselves. We are to these fucking projects every fucking day, dude. I got 40 people. It's like no one wants to talk about anything else anymore. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I love the projects and I think it's great. And I think it's a cool way to connect with your fans. Sugar, I know you did one and that's awesome. But it's like the amount of people that hit me up every day to promote like, yo, we're doing winning whales or aardvark apes or shitty fucking koalas, crypto cocks. Like, I don't like, it's like being fucking two again. Mm-hmm. The way that it's being, the way that people have exploited the space. the tech is awesome, but unfortunately, every fucking piece of shit e-com fucker moved directly from Shopify to OpenSea and turned it into this fucking stupid space filled with non-existent animals with hats on, bro. I can't deal with this shit anymore. It's driving me fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
We're gonna be in LA January 14th, 15th. Just a quick one. If you're gonna be in LA, let's do a food fucking burger review.
LP is gonna come back too at some point in the next month, or sorry, right after New Year's. If we're all in town, we're definitely doing another app too.
If not, if it's just you, let's hit a fucking burger review. Go get some pointless, meaningless sex, and be anxious. I'm down.
Talk about NFTs a little bit.
All right, Mikey, you the fucking man, dude.
I'm mad at you too, Shug. We didn't get to hang out after the fight. I saw you for
Clubski. I know. That's all we did though. We went to the fucking after the fight. We went to the hotel. Went to that club. I got drunk. The rest is history.
Next time,
dude. 100%. We got to kick skit.
Dude, you the man, Mike. Thanks so much,
yeah,
bro.
appreciate you coming on, brother. First, you're the second guest, kind of technically, but yeah, fuck yeah, Mike. Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks for having me, boys. Peace.
You literally call it Zoom with the boys.
Zooming with the boys.
Yeah, that's it.
I know. I seen that tweet you sent me. Are we still rolling, right?
Yeah.
That tweet you sent me from a girl saying guys get together and and gossip and call it a podcast. Oh, you said that? That's funny. Oh yeah, that's right. That's funny. Big Mike Majlak. You ever heard of Mike Majlak?
I definitely know the name. I can't remember where it comes, where it's bringing me to. So remind me.
He was ex crackhead basically, and then now he's a superstar on YouTube. He's on the Impulsive podcast with Logan Paul, one of the biggest podcasts in the world. Just a fucking.
He's a good ass YouTuber too. All his night shift stuff. It's like you want to watch it. It's like he's not even doing anything that exciting, but he's just good energy every time.
What's up, guys? Yeah, no, Mike Majlak, cool dude. It's crazy that his story is pretty crazy how he's where he's at now because he's a fucking superstar.
Yeah, and dude, being that old and hanging out constantly with all those 20 some year old kids, it's like
he definitely fucks with them. You could tell he's like, God, I feel like he's getting. He said he's 37. He seems like he's fucking doesn't seem any older than you. Like,
no, but he's probably got a lot of wisdom.
Very youthful. Very youthful. There's a quote that says the real flex is how many wounds you could turn into wisdom. So I think when like people go through really difficult things in their life, you see them go one or two ways. They crash and burn and they never come back, or they become some badass motherfucker.
And what do you think that is? Genes?
I mean, I think some people come out of the womb just being a badass, right? Like people come out of the womb like being that sort of person. But I think realistically, they're either you're exposed to a culture. Let me rephrase. 90% of people, I feel like, need to be taught the skills that we're talking about.
Yeah.
10%, right? One of two things happen. Half of them, they are brought up in a very unique culture that is difficult to replicate, that makes them a badass motherfucker, right? The other 5%, they just came out that way. Period. End of story. Like no matter what happens, they are going to be a badass.
It's hard though.
Yeah. So, but I think that like I'm for sure genetics play a part. I mean, look at some of the most successful athletes in their bloodline.
Francis.
You know?
Or the John Jones brothers.
Right. John Jones brothers. Just last night, John was at the game. You see Chandler just kicking ass, right? Muhammad Ali's daughter, now his grandson, right? Boxing. Yeah. So genetics play a role, but I think so does your environment, and so does you.
Yeah.
You make a choice.
I was gonna say environment for sure. Like Michael, my older brother, was addicted to meth for 10 plus years in Helena, Montana, and nothing was gonna fucking change. You'd get sober for a couple of days, you start using, get sober. He moved here, and he's fucking good. And so who you surround yourself with and environment have a huge role in whether you're gonna continue to be a fucking crackhead or just do whatever you're doing or change.
Think of the fighters that phased out. Like think of just over the years, good guys. Who were they around? I bet you they're a product of who they're around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you get kids that are 6 years old, 7 years old, accomplishing things that they didn't think they could accomplish, and just slowly start stacking up that mental toughness and be like, damn, I can do tough shit and get through it.
Yeah.
But our cameras are probably going to die. That was a fucking, I thought it was a good show. Thanks for coming on, Mike.
Perfect first half, second half. Like Tim said, he booked 2 fucking guests. You got red hair. What do you expect?
I'm in Phoenix all the time. So my mom and my sister live here. My sister went to ASU. My mom moved here over COVID, and then
Where do you live?
so I'm in Houston right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm from New York, so I was curious where he was in Connecticut. So I'm from Long Island, moved to DC, the DC area for school, and then for work, the FBI, and then I moved to Houston, stayed there. But I'm actually in the process of trying to move to Phoenix.
Damn.
Yeah,
Houston's sick though.
I like Houston. There's things that I do like about Houston.
The
but
chicks. Remember? Oh,
Lots of Asians.
they're crazy. A lot of Asians.
I love Houston.
Yeah. Did you? You didn't fight in Houston,
No,
did you?
I fight in Vegas only.
Yeah.
Facts.
So is John Jones doing his camp here officially, or what? Do you know?
I think so. My understanding is that from posts that he's put out is that he will be splitting his time. But I mean, he's here right now training. I think his intentions are to do a significant portion of his camp here.
At Bottle Blonde.
I think
and still fuck everyone up.
Yeah, no shit.
Listen, so I was just with him the other night. He was doing a wrestling workout. I was there. It was Captain, him, and this guy Freeman from Sanford, who's actually in the Marines. Long story short, you saw him wrestling with Jaden Cox. Obviously, there's levels to this game, right? Like Jaden Cox is an Olympic medalist, like amazing.
I didn't see it. Was he taking him down over and over?
Jaden definitely got the better of John, and it got posted all over the internet. John goes against an all marine wrestler, a guy who's a very good wrestler, and they were going back and forth. John actually in some positions was pretty impressive. Like people forget. I'm pretty sure John was a JUCO national champion.
Well, it's so fucking crazy how adding punches into takedowns, like for me to go and take someone down just straight wrestling is going to be a lot harder for me to throw a 1-2 and fucking slip under and take someone down. Like the crazy how much punches change the aspect
sure.
of takedowns. Look
at Khabib. Khabib almost knocked out Conor McGregor because he was so afraid of his striking that his hands had to come down.
Yeah.
And that's the same for you. Guys are so afraid of your striking that I think that's going to be a fun evolution.
Might have to.
Yeah, for real.
That's going to be a fun evolution for you when we start watching you take
I got
people
some
out.
slick takedowns. I'm not.
He does.
No one's seen them. No one's really seen them. I mean, I could post that one the other day right before my fight, but I've got some fucking. I just don't. I prefer strike, but you never know.
You got to hit a duck here and there, then we
You
got to
hit a
do
little
it.
ducksky. Fuck it.
Okay, that's episode 169. Thanks, Mike, for coming on. See you guys
thanks,
next
Mike.
week.
Doses.